Well, I guess maybe I could describe today as sobering. A sobering reminder that this team will have hot moments, moments where it looks like a real actual postseason team, but it just will not get out of its own way. This was another winnable game that the Red Sox lost because of fundamentals. And again, don't get me wrong, the Dodgers are a good team, but this was a winnable game. It was a game we were leading and we had the tying runs on base late. It was still a winnable game. I understand you lose games sometimes, but it's just stupid things. Like sometimes you just get outplayed and I get it. But this was dumb mistakes again. I think there was bullpen mismanagement. There was that debacle on the base paths. And it's just one of those reminders. I mean, we're lucky today was a wash because, yes, Toronto and Houston did lose, and that helps. But in any case, it just feels like, as a whole, the Red Sox, if they don't make the postseason, it will just be because they couldn't get out of their own way. They'll have no one to blame but themselves. And it's games like this. This is the other side of some of the fun games they've had. It's heartbreaking losses in games you feel like, we could have had that one. We really, really could have had that one. We get off to a good start. You have the Verdugo home run to lead off the game in the first. And, there's obviously that bit of poetry and symmetry of, this is Mookie's return and Verdugo's the return we got in the Mookie trade. And, he obviously has a positive impact on the game. Because, he did play really well today. He had 3 hits, so, good for him. Good for him for showing up. But and then you have the Story home run, his first home run since coming back from injury. So you got a couple of that. Crawford looked good through 5, but third time through the order, man. Third time through the order. And then we bring in Pivetta, which, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting, I guess. You expect him to be more of an innings eater and come in earlier games. Maybe were they expecting him to be better and just throw more innings, maybe finish the game even? I don't even know. But, he doesn't have it. He gets shelled. We give up the lead by the end of the inning. We were up 3-0. We give up all 3 runs. So I really, really just don't understand that you bring him back in for the 7th after the 6th clearly showed you that he didn't have it. It just doesn't make sense to me. It made no sense to me, and the Dodgers end up taking the lead off of it. Just frustrating all around. And then you have the bottom of the 8th disaster. I don't know what to call that. Call it a debacle, call it a fiasco, call it a catastrophe. All of those words fit. Break out your thesaurus. Whatever it is, all of those words perfectly describe what I saw on that field in the 8th inning. Verdugo lines a single in a right field to Mookie Betts, who we obviously know from his time in Boston and just from paying attention to baseball that he's got a good arm. Casas was on second. Wong was on first after McGuire had an infield single. Wong was in first as a pinch runner. I mean, I have my own opinions. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't really make sense to put in a pinch runner when there's a runner in front of you, but I guess I understand it because, he's the tying run. If there's a ball in the gap, you want him to be able to score from first. But, so, Casas obviously can't score because Mookie comes up gunning. If he was sent, he was going to be thrown out. Connor Wong somehow, when that throw gets cut off by Freeman, somehow is halfway between second and third. I don't know why he rounded the base that hard. I mean, there's a runner in front of him. He's got to know to, make sure the runner's even going, because he can't go if Casas isn't going. And he gets nabbed in a rundown, and we run ourselves out of the inning. And if he had just stayed put at second, we are down 2 with the bases loaded with Devers coming up, the tying runs in scoring position. And to add insult to injury, he because of that, he's first up in the bottom of the 9th. He gets a single. Now, I understand, there's no guarantee that, he does get a hit. But just the fact that because of that mistake, we lost a chance. Just a chance. A chance to do something in that inning. A chance. That's all we were asking for. Just a chance. Because maybe he does hit a single. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does. But we didn't even get a chance there. Because if he gets beat by the bullpen arm, that's whatever. That's one thing. But, I think sometimes when I'm growing up watching pro baseball, I don't have as much of an appreciation for the fundamentals because, all the players, they make it look so fluid and simple, like they just know what they're doing. But no, if anything, this Red Sox team has taught me, it's the fundamentals. They don't just do it because, they're pro baseball players. They do it because they actually practice it and keep it in mind. You cannot just gloss over the fundamentals. We're the worst defensive team in the league, and it's not even close. And that wasn't even the problem today. It was base running, but again, that's the same thing. Fundamental baseball, things that they teach you in Little League when you're growing up, things that you have to carry with you throughout your entire career, we just can't get right. And it's costing us. Again, it didn't cost us too much in the standings today. Luckily, Toronto and Houston both lost, but we're the team that needs to catch up. We need to take advantage. When they lose, we need to take advantage. And again, this was a winnable game. We could have gotten ourselves down to 2.5 back. And we're going to end up running out of time in the season in a weird way. But it's our own fault for continuing to play like this. And I was, this wasn't the reason I was dreading this weekend. I was dreading this weekend because if you go in my past videos, I was not excited to hear all the different takes about the Mookie trade and rehashing that after we've done so for the last 3.5 years at this point. Because what is that? February 2020 is now August 2023. So yeah, pretty much literally 3.5 years we've been going over this trade, particularly after the Red Sox lose or something. And for what I gave Verdugo for very much impacting the game in a positive way, Connor Wong, of course, the other piece we got in the trade, impacts the game in a negative way by getting his ass thrown out on the base paths like an idiot. And again, the bullpen just didn't have it. I mean, Pivetta just got absolutely shelled today. Just absolutely shelled. Wasted what, for the most part, was a good outing by Cutter Crawford. Just really disappointing that we couldn't come through for him. And we still got 2 more games against these guys. I just don't know. I mean, just got to come out better tomorrow, but fuck, man, these are the games that you don't want to let slip away because, you're going to lose games, granted, but it's those games in the middle, those games that could go either way, those are the margins in between the games that because I think it was Tommy Lasorda who said you're guaranteed to lose 50 games a season and win 50 games a season, and those margins in between, it's those close games that are going to define your season. And we lose one because of fundamental baseball. Fundamental baseball, and that's the story today. I'm a little bit calmer than I was when the game ended, of course, because a little bit of time has passed, so I'm not going to say all the stupid inflammatory blah blah blah, fire everyone, trade everyone, we suck, we're never going to win again, we're cursed, da 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 da. I feel like I've moved past that stage, so I can at least make a somewhat intelligible video, but this is just what this team does, unfortunately, too often, and they're just getting in their own way. But it does feel like we have a talented group that could give us some deep runs in the future, but we just gotta clean it up. It's gotta be cleaner than this. You're losing games by your own accord, by our own mistakes. We're not necessarily always getting outplayed. We're outplaying ourselves. But that's all for this one. Depending on what the circumstances is, whether I make a video tomorrow or not, I'll try to. I always try to make a video, but sometimes, life gets in the way. But in any case, I hope you enjoy this one. Go Sox.